Good morning. It's early AM. The town is changing. Things are changing. And I'm outside. And some of you might even wonder why I'm outside at 6 o'clock in the morning. Outside my door. To be honest, I wanted to find a nice quiet place to make a video, but it doesn't sound like a nice quiet place at 6 o'clock in the morning on my own block. It's becoming like the city. I wanted to talk about Basar Echad. Basar Echad. It means one flesh, literally. And in the Bible, where Christ talks about how a man shall leave his father and the mother, and they twain shall be one flesh, that is Basar Echad, okay? And we know that they're talking on this wise about marriage because in the New Testament, the Pharisees confront Christ with the subject of divorcement, whether a man should be divorced for every cause, and also whether a man should be divorced for any cause. This is a big deal, because at that time there are conflicting sections, factions, you might say, among Pharisees, depending on who they learned from. They wanted to use this. It's cold out. You can see your breath. They wanted to use this as this controversial, highly volatile subject as a reason to eliminate Christ in his day. Good thing I brought myself a thermos of hot coffee. But there's a bench here, and I can sit here and just have a little bit of quiet. And, except it backfired. Their plan to get Christ caught up in this divorce issue failed miserably. Christ brought them back to the book of Genesis and stated something to the effect, have you not read that a man shall, for this cause shall a man take his wife, or for this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife. And Jesus also said, what therefore God hath put together, let not man put asunder. I'm going to stand up here. I'm not quite awake yet, but I'm waking up. I just didn't want to wake up my family when I got into this subject material because I'm very passionate about this subject. I've actually written a manuscript on the subject, and I'm hoping to publish my manuscript in book form. Not just ebook, but in book form. I'm hoping to do that. But I I don't want to wake up my family if I start to talk too loudly. A friend of mine made a reference on Facebook, and this man, I deeply respect this man. Okay, this young man who has devoted much of his time into putting it together regarding marriage, and he's got a lot put together. And I don't know if he's just playing the devil's advocate or what in this regard. I don't know if some of you know what playing the devil's advocate means. It means you don't really believe what you're saying. You're just saying it to egg on the other person to present the proper and right arguments against the false statement that you make. It's just a device used, to play out a role in reason. I believe C.S. Lewis wrote a book called The Screw Tape Letters, or Screw Type Letters, in which we have the devil's advocate, a player in this sort of dialogue or exchange. Morality matters, A sense of right and wrong matter. And without it, I don't really think that we could build our societies, our communities. I don't think that we would have very much going for us if we did not honor morality. And as someone once told me, morality starts at the individual level. Ethics begin at the community level. And so there's your difference between morality and ethics. Without morality, you can't even have ethics. You can't even get that far. You have to start at the individual level. And then you build an ethical community. Well, that's the goal. This is what one hopes to attain to, an ethical community. I submit that mandatory monogamy is not ethical. It is not ethical to force a man to be married to one wife only. It is unethical. And there are several reasons why mandatory monogamy is unethical, and I'm not going to go into those right now, but I do want to state that my friend, whom I share the deepest regard for, pray for, and desire every success for, used this term, this very badly abused term. And yesterday, I was being tried and tested by many things. My health, my own domestic home front was challenging me, finances, you name it, the usual. When you start making a breakthrough, you start making some sort of progress, the enemy jumps on you right away, so you're attacked. And so if I offended any in my addressing this issue on Facebook, I apologize publicly here and now. My desire was not to offend any. But my desire is to make it clear. We can't trust what secular government tells us about marriage. Secular government lies. Secular government has historically lied and repeatedly lied and consistently lied to we, the people. And I don't care where you may live. You live in Canada. I don't care where you live. If there is some sort of a secularist government in operation, be prepared to be lied to. Now, some of these lies have become traditions, okay? Like Santa Claus. They're myths. They don't exist. It's not real. And whether people want to grow up and embrace the truth is another matter. But you cannot accept secularist government lies as the truth and expect to have any claim on truth. The only way that you can have a claim on truth is to attain to the truth. Now here's what I'm talking about. My friend used a term that really should have been put in quotation marks. And every time I use this term, I put it in quotation marks because that means someone else said it. Not me. I didn't say it. Someone else called it that. It's called that by someone else, not by me, because I know better, because I know it's not true. It's like dry water. It's an oxymoron. Okay? I almost feel that I may have to add another chapter to my book just to address this matter. And the matter I'm talking about is quote-unquote single motherhood. If I have ever heard a farce in my lifetime, it is this term. Okay? It is this term. Single mother. Okay? Rarely, very rarely, is a mother truly single. Alright? Truly. And in order to face the truth about this, I have to point to some very ugly issues. And of course, people don't want to cast their gaze that way. They don't want to look at ugly things. I don't either. But to embrace a sweet lie, just to smooth things over, gloss things over, is an even greater atrocity. Now here's my point. I think this young man knows better. I think that he knows better than to start referring to what the government calls single mothers as being such. They are not single mothers. Is there an exception? Maybe. I'm going to say maybe, because, generally there are exceptions to just about every rule of some sort, or perceived exceptions or contradictions. See, I won't go so far as to call rape marriage, alright? I don't believe it is. And my reason for that is because in order for any marriage to be legitimate, marriage, like indeed marriage, okay? Marriage indeed, both parties must be consenting. It has to be consensual. And that's why rape is such an atrocity. Because with rape, a man can actually force a woman's flesh to join with his flesh, and the product of that union